All right. Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. Today we're going to be looking into something pretty interesting, I think, the history of RC Cola.
RC Cola.
So we have a great video essay here just kind of outlining, the entire history.
Mm-hmm.
And, everybody knows Coke and Pepsi, right?
Right.
But RC Cola has always been that other cola.
Yeah, the Underdog.
The Underdog, yeah, just sitting there on the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people would be surprised to learn that its history is actually pretty dramatic.
Yeah, it really is. So what are some of the things that stand out to you about RC Cola's history?
Well, I think what's fascinating is that it really kind of reflects American business history as a whole.
Oh, interesting.
You see the impact of world wars,
Yeah.
Changing consumer tastes, even government regulations.
Right.
And all of that really played a crucial role in kind of shaping RC's destiny.
Yeah, and we're going to touch on all of that today.
Yeah.
We're going to see how a pharmacist's bold decision to take on Coca-Cola led to a legal battle over the word cola.
Wow.
We'll see how a sugar shortage during World War I led to a very unexpected surplus afterwards.
Yeah.
And also going to examine how a government ban on a popular ingredient really shook the entire diet soda industry.
Yeah, it's really a wild ride through soda history.
It is. It is.
I think people will be surprised by how close RC came to actually, challenging Coke and Pepsi.
Yeah.
There were several moments where they were really on the verge of breaking through, and then bam, they get hit with these huge setbacks that probably would have crushed a lot of companies.
Yeah. So let's rewind the clock here, back to the early 1900s.
Okay.
Our story begins with a pharmacist named Claude Hatcher.
A pharmacist?
Yeah. And this guy wasn't just, mixing up prescriptions.
Mm-hmm.
He was also a businessman.
Okay.
And he was running a successful grocery wholesale operation.
So he's a bit of an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's actually where he runs into trouble with Coca-Cola.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, Hatcher, he wants to stock his stores with Coke.
Of course.
Yeah. A popular drink.
Yeah, makes sense.
But the Coca-Cola representative wouldn't give him a bulk discount.
Oh, so they're trying to squeeze him a little bit.
Yeah, and this was actually a pretty common practice at the time. Larger companies using their market power to kind of,
Yeah, bully the little guy.
Yeah, bully the little guy, exactly.
Okay.
So Hatcher, being the, the determined entrepreneur that he is, he basically says, fine, if you won't play ball, I'll make my own soda.
Wow, what a bold move.
Yeah, so it seems like kind of a rash decision.
Yeah, especially considering how big Coke was at the time.
But Hatcher had a plan.
Okay. I'm intrigued. What did he do?
So he starts by developing his own ginger ale formula.
Ginger ale. Okay.
Yeah, and ginger ale back then was a very popular drink.
Yeah, I guess especially as a mixer.
Yeah, for cocktails and stuff.
Right.
And Hatcher's ginger ale really took off.
Wow, so it was a hit.
It was a hit, yeah. It proved that he had a knack for, crafting beverages.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
So he ditches the grocery business entirely.
Oh, wow.
Focuses all his energy on soda.
Okay.
But he knew that to really compete, he needed to enter the cola market.
Right, that's where the money is.
Yeah. So this is where I think Hatcher's strategic brilliance really comes in.
Okay.
So instead of challenging Coca-Cola head on with, a classic cola, he created a cherry cola.
Oh, a cherry cola?
And called it Cherry-Cola.
Cherry-Cola, oh, man.
And remember, this is before Cherry Coke was even a thing.
Right.
So he was really ahead of the curve.
Yeah, he was thinking outside the box.
It was a brilliant move.
Yeah.
Tapping into that market for flavored colas and, differentiating his product from Coke.
Yeah. No.
And guess what?
Wow.
Cherry-Cola became a massive hit.
Really?
Yeah, sales skyrocketed, and soon the company was actually forced to rebrand itself.
Wow.
To shift its focus from ginger ale to their star cola.
So they basically renamed the whole company after the cherry cola.
They did. That's how popular it was.
That's amazing.
It seemed like nothing could stop their momentum,
Right.
but then, as often happens in business, right?
Yeah.
External factors came into play.
Oh.
World War I breaks out.
Oh, wow.
And the entire world feels the impact.
Right.
The war leads to a severe sugar shortage.
No, of course. Sure.
And prices go through the roof.
Yeah.
Sugar, of course, the lifeblood of the soda industry.
Right.
So Hatcher is faced with a difficult choice now.
Yeah, what does it do?
Scale back production or find a way to secure a steady supply of sugar at a reasonable price.
Right.
So what do you think he did?
I mean, this guy sounds like he doesn't back down from a challenge. So
You're right.
I bet he found a way.
He decided to take a gamble.
Oh.
And he builds his own sugar refinery.
Wow.
It was a risky move.
Very risky.
Required significant investment at a time of global uncertainty.
Yeah.
But he was betting on the long game.
Okay, so did it pay off?
Well, in a way it did.
Okay.
He secured his sugar supply so he could keep producing Coca-Cola. But then comes the twist.
Oh no, there's a twist.
Shortly after the war ended, sugar prices plummeted.
Oh no.
So suddenly now
He's stuck with all this expensive sugar.
he's sitting on a mountain of sugar purchased at wartime prices.
Yeah.
And his profit margins shrink.
Oof. Talk about bad timing.
Yeah, really bad timing.
Yeah.
But wait, it gets worse.
Oh no. What else happens?
Remember Coca-Cola?
Oh, yeah?
The company Hatcher originally wanted to do business with?
Right.
Well, they had been watching the rise of Coca-Cola very
Well,
carefully.
yeah, I bet they weren't happy.
They were not happy. They saw it as a threat,
Right.
and they decided to take action.
Oh, this is not going to be good.
So Coca-Cola files a lawsuit against them, claiming trademark infringement.
Trademark. Oh, so the name is too similar?
Yeah, they argued that Coca-Cola and Tricola were
Oh.
too similar,
Yeah.
and that consumers would be confused.
Okay.
And this was actually a tactic that larger companies used a lot
Right.
back then.
Yeah, to stifle the competition.
Yeah, exactly. And in
Yeah.
this case, it worked.
So they lost the lawsuit.
They did.
Oh, wow.
And it was a devastating blow.
Yeah.
The court ruled in favor of Coca-Cola, forcing Cola to drop the cola from their name.
Really? Wow.
So in 1923, they were forced to rebrand as just Chero.
Just Chero, huh?
It might seem like a small change,
Yeah.
but the impact was huge.
So what happened? Did people just stop buying it?
That's exactly what happened.
Bring it.
Consumers were confused.
Yeah, I guess so.
Sales plummeted, and eventually they had no choice but to discontinue Chero altogether.
Wow.
It was a crushing defeat, really marked the end of an era for the company.
Yeah. What a bummer.
But wait, I thought this was about RC Cola.
Right.
What happened next? Did they just give up on cola?
Yeah, did they just throw in the towel?
No, they didn't give up.
Okay.
Remember, this is a company that had faced some significant challenges already.
Yeah, they've been through a lot.
They'd built their business around ginger ale, then a cola,
Mm-hmm.
and when those faced setbacks, they adapted.
Yeah, they're pretty resilient.
They're very resilient.
Okay.
So what did they do? Did they go back to ginger ale?
I don't know. What did they do?
They did something even more surprising.
Okay.
They launched a fruit-flavored drink called Knee-High.
Knee-High. That's a funny name.
Yeah, and believe it or not, Knee-High became their next big hit.
Wow, really? Knee-High.
Yeah.
What an interesting name for a drink.
Yeah, it was a clever marketing ploy,
Okay.
targeting children with a name that evoked a sense of fun and playfulness.
Yeah, kids love that.
And it worked.
So knee-high sales soared.
They soared.
Wow.
It carried the company through the tumultuous years of the Great Depression.
Wow, they just keep bouncing back.
They do.
Okay, so what about their cola ambitions?
They did, and that's where the story of RC Cola truly begins.
All right, so they didn't give up on cola.
No, they didn't.
Okay, I'm ready for the next chapter.
Let's do it.
They weathered the Great Depression and even the death of their founder, Claude Hatcher, in 1933.
Wow, losing your founder? Like, that must have been tough for the company.
It was a huge blow. But luckily they had a strong leader ready to step up. Hilary Mott took over, and he really steered the company through those tough times.
Okay.
He saw that the cola market was still, ripe for competition,
Right.
and he knew the company could reclaim its spot.
So they decided to give cola another shot?
Yes. In 1934, they launched Royal Crown Cola,
Royal Crown Cola.
a name that evoked, a sense of quality and prestige.
Okay.
But it wasn't just the name that set them apart. They were really innovative with their marketing.
Oh, really? Like how?
Well, one of their biggest breakthroughs was the widespread use of blind taste tests.
Blind taste tests.
Yeah, they would set up booths, in public places.
Okay.
Invite people to try 2 unmarked cups of cola.
Okay.
1 Royal Crown, 1 Coca-Cola.
Interesting.
And the results were really impressive.
So people preferred Royal Crown.
Time and time again, yeah.
Wow, that's a pretty bold move going head to head with Coke like that.
They weren't afraid. And they didn't stop there. They understood the power of celebrity endorsements, too.
Oh, yeah.
They got some of the biggest names in Hollywood at the time,
Like who?
like Bing Crosby and Joan Crawford,
Wow, big names.
promoting their product.
Wow, so they're really going all out to build this premium brand image.
They wanted to be seen as the best.
Okay, and it worked. Did they win back the right to use cola in their name?
Yes, they did. After years of legal battles, Royal Crown finally secured the right to call themselves RC Cola.
RC Cola.
It was a huge victory.
Yeah.
Allowed them to kind of reclaim their heritage
I see.
and connect with the customers who remembered the success of Cherry Cola.
So RC Cola was officially back in the game.
Back in the game, and they were on a roll.
Really?
Yeah, by the 1950s, they were one of the top-selling colas in the country,
Wow.
really giving Coke and Pepsi a run for their money.
That's great.
And then in the 1960s, they achieved something truly groundbreaking.
What's that?
They launched Diet Right Cola, the first mass-produced diet soda.
Wow, the first diet soda?
Yeah,
That's huge.
it was a game changer, really.
Yeah.
Diet Right tapped into a growing health consciousness among consumers,
Right.
and it quickly became a national sensation.
It makes sense.
It was so popular that RC Cola and Diet Right were both among the top 4 best-selling sodas in the country.
Wow. It sounds like they were finally on the verge of toppling the giants Coke and Pepsi.
They really were.
But something tells me the story's not over yet.
You'd be right.
What happened next?
Well, you know what they say, what goes up must come down.
Right.
And unfortunately for RC Cola, that was about to happen in a big way. In 1969, the U.S. government made a decision that really sent shockwaves through the entire diet soda industry.
What did they do?
They banned the use of cyclamet,
Cyclamet.
the artificial sweetener that was used in Diet Right and pretty much every other diet soda on the market.
Wait, they banned the artificial sweetener? Why would they do that?
The main reason they gave was a study
Okay.
that linked cyclamet to bladder cancer in rats. However, that study has since been criticized, for using really, really high doses of cyclamet,
Yeah.
much more than any human would ever consume.
Right.
And there's also been a lot of research suggesting that cyclamet is actually safe for human consumption in moderate amounts.
So was there something else going on here? Was it maybe pressure from the sugar industry who saw diet soda as a threat?
Well, there'd been a lot of theories about that, but it's really hard to say for sure what motivated the government's decision.
Yeah.
But what we do know is that the ban had a devastating impact on the entire diet soda market.
Yeah, I bet.
And RC Cola was hit particularly hard.
Yeah.
Diet Right had been their flagship product, and suddenly it was gone.
Just like that. Wow, that's a nightmare scenario for any business.
It really is.
To have your most successful product suddenly become illegal.
Yeah.
So how did they respond? Did they try to reformulate Diet Right with a different sweetener?
They did try to reformulate it,
Oh, okay.
but the damage was already done.
Yeah.
The public had been spooked by the cyclamet ban,
Right.
and the entire diet soda market basically collapsed.
Wow.
It took years for diet sodas to regain consumer trust, and by that time, the competitive landscape had changed.
It's incredible how one government decision based on a single study can have such a huge ripple effect across an entire industry.
Yeah, it's really amazing.
So where did this leave RC Cola? Did they try to, focus on their regular cola again?
They did try, but the loss of Diet Right had really shaken them.
I bet.
They already experienced the dangers of relying too heavily on a single product.
Right, with the Cherry Cola.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they decided to try a different approach.
Diversification.
Diversification. So they wanted to branch out into other types of products.
Exactly.
That seems like a reasonable strategy, especially after the roller coaster ride they'd been on.
In theory, it's a good idea to diversify, not put all your eggs in one basket.
Right.
But in RC Cola's case, I think they took it a bit too far.
What do you mean?
Well, instead of strategically expanding into related markets.
Right. They just started acquiring companies left and right,
And?
not just in the beverage industry.
Okay.
They bought juice companies, which made sense.
Okay, yeah.
But then they also bought companies that made tiles, picture frames, lamps.
Wait, tiles and picture frames? That's a pretty big leap from soda.
Yeah, it really is. They even bought Arby's, the fast food chain.
Arby's? Wow, that's completely out of left field. I had no idea.
Sounds crazy, right?
Yeah.
So by the 1980s, their soft drink business only accounted for about half of their revenue.
Wow.
They had lost focus.
Yeah.
And in that time, Coke and Pepsi, they solidified their dominance.
It's a shame because it sounds like they were so close to becoming a major force in the industry.
They were, but unfortunately the setbacks just kept coming.
Oh, no.
And the next one would prove to be one of the most damaging yet.
Okay, so RC Cola is struggling. They're trying to regain their footing after the cyclamet ban and this diversification strategies that didn't really pan out.
Right.
So what happens next?
Well, in 1984, RC Cola faced a new threat. Unlike anything they'd encountered before, a hostile takeover.
A hostile takeover.
Yeah.
What exactly does that mean?
Well, it's basically when an individual or another company acquires a controlling interest in a company
Okay.
against the wishes of its existing management.
So they don't want it to happen.
No, they don't want it to happen.
Okay.
In this case, the individual was Victor Posner,
Victor Posner.
a businessman known for his aggressive tactics
Okay.
and, let's just say, a less than stellar reputation.
So this Posner character swoops in and takes control of RC Cola even though they don't want him to.
That's right.
What happens then?
Well, once he gained control, he immediately started implementing, these drastic cost-cutting measures,
Okay.
slashing marketing budgets, reducing product quality.
And that's not good for the brand.
It's not good at all.
Huh?
His focus was really on short-term profits,
Right.
not on, nurturing and rebuilding this beloved brand.
Right. So it's like a classic case of prioritizing quick profits over long-term brand health.
Exactly. And it has a devastating impact on RC Cola's market share.
So they never really recovered from this.
They never fully recovered, no.
So what happened to RC Cola after Posner?
Well, the company changed hands a few times, actually.
Oh, really?
First, it was Triarch, a holding company.
Okay.
Then Cadbury Schweppes, the confectionery and beverage giant.
Wow. Okay.
And finally, in 2008, RC Cola landed with Dr. Pepper Snapple Group.
So today, if I go buy an RC Cola, who's actually making that?
If you're buying it in the United States, it's being produced and distributed by Keurig Dr. Pepper.
Okay.
The company formed after Dr. Pepper Snapple Group merged with Keurig Green Mountain.
So from a pharmacist's ambitious dream to a series of corporate takeovers, it's been quite a journey for this brand.
It really has.
You know what strikes me is just the resilience of RC Cola.
Yeah.
Despite facing all these challenges, lawsuits, sugar shortages, government bans, hostile takeovers, they've managed to survive, adapt, and even thrive at times.
They never gave up.
Exactly. It's a testament to, I guess, the enduring appeal of the underdog.
The brand that never quite reached the top but kept fighting.
Yeah.
I think there's a valuable lesson in there for all of us,
Yeah.
not just in business, but in life.
Right.
Even when faced with these, seemingly insurmountable obstacles,
Right.
there's always a reason to keep pushing forward.
To keep innovating,
Yeah,
to
right.
keep believing in your vision.
It's a reminder that success isn't always a straight line.
Yeah.
There will be setbacks, there will be detours, but it's really how you navigate those challenges that defines you.
And sometimes, even if you don't reach the pinnacle of success, the journey itself is worth it.
Exactly. You learn, you grow, you adapt, and you leave behind a legacy that hopefully inspires others.
Well, I think that's a great place to wrap up our deep dive into the world of RC Cola.
Yeah.
It started as just, a simple exploration of a familiar soda, turned into this fascinating journey through American business history,
Right.
filled with surprises and unexpected turns and valuable lessons.
We saw how a pharmacist's bold decision to challenge the status quo led to this, beloved brand.
And how innovation and marketing savvy really propelled them forward.
And of course, how those external forces and internal struggles really shaped their destiny.
Yeah, it's a story that reminds us that even in a world dominated by these giants, Coke and Pepsi, there's always room for the underdog, the rebel, the brand that dares to be different.
So next time you see a can of RC Cola,
Yeah.
take a moment to appreciate its rich history, its fighting spirit,
Yeah.
and that enduring legacy of a brand that never gave up.
And to all of our amazing listeners out there, thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
We hope you enjoyed the ride.
We hope you learned something new along the way.
If you're thirsty for more fascinating deep dives, make sure to subscribe to our channel, like this episode, and leave a comment below.
We love hearing from you.
And if you're feeling adventurous, why not grab a can of RC Cola?
Yeah.
Experience that unique flavor for yourself.
You might just discover your new favorite soda.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.
See you in the next episode.